HUD's Philadelphia Regional Office serves the 38 eastern counties of Pennsylvania and all of Delaware. With 300 employees, our program offices include public housing, multifamily housing, fair housing and equal opportunity, community planning and development, and a single-family homeownership center. We also include field policy and management, economic marketing and analysis division, legal support, and other support staff. Our offices are located in the heart of downtown Philadelphia, in the historic Wanamaker building and across the street from City Hall. Over the past year, our regional office has worked to support our mission through a variety of projects and initiatives. Charitable events, outreach activities, stakeholder engagement, groundbreakings, work groups, and homelessness initiatives are just a few of the ways that we have carried out HUD's mission. In all that we do, we are committed to creating strong, sustainable communities and affordable homes for all.
It's critical that we get the money out on the street as soon as possible, but it also needs to be spent properly. I mean, the goal is to really get those early grantees with expiring grants their money, and the office has done just a yeoman's job in terms of really stepping up and getting out there with those communities, working with them to make sure that they do what they need to do to meet threshold in order to get the dollars on the street. So, you know, it's been a major task, but we've successfully done it with the limited resources that we have.
I was actually appointed to HUD's disaster team. I was the single family representative on the team, and I was asked to bring forward anything to do with single family regarding the programs we might have to offer to help the victims, such as our 203K or 203H program, which is rehab and purchase of a new home.
I volunteered because I knew there was a need, and people needed particularly housing. That's what HUD is about, is fulfilling that need that people have, very basic need for housing, and I couldn't say no.
Over half of the seniors that we assisted have been able to bring their loans current or enter into a successful repayment plan. The project is being viewed by the housing industry as a model. It is being replicated by Fannie Mae, the holder of 90% of the pre-2010 HECM reverse mortgages on a much larger scale.
There's a person that I talked to that's still in their house after 2 years of almost losing their house, and they are still in their house.
And they're very grateful. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And this is a good testament to the fact that these are people who would otherwise, without the program, they would have lost their homes to foreclosure.
Right now, there's unprecedented collaboration within the city of Philadelphia with 11 different organizations and departments coming together for the first time. These are organizations that have been working on ending veteran homelessness for a while. It's what they're passionate about. But for the first time, we're all at the same table. We're meeting weekly. We have action items that we are addressing and making progress on.
My initiative is to promote HUD's encouragement for housing authorities to adopt smoke-free policies in their public housing. I've conducted a couple training sessions, and I've worked with housing authority executive directors to outline the steps in adopting a policy and to sort of recognize the benefits of adopting a policy.
The Energy Web Group was tasked with promoting and identifying energy initiatives and opportunities throughout Region 3. We determined that the best way, or one way to meet this goal, would be to develop an energy website where innovation and best practices throughout the field offices would be represented.
Sustaining our investments is a new initiative that multifamily housing has been rolling out over the past year. Philadelphia office has been rolling out for over a year now. And it's basically an initiative which allows project managers and supervisory staff to get together and to meet weekly and discuss properties that are high risk. And there's reports that we can pull to give us a quick snapshot of how a property is doing.
My priority is to ensure that affordable housing is preserved. So there are a lot of Section 202 housing that need to be refinanced, and we have been working together in order to do that, particularly in New Jersey and Philadelphia. Also, any of the assisted properties that we already have, you know, they're 20, 30, 40 years old, so they need to be rehabilitated, and trying to convince owners to stay in the program and to preserve the housing long-term with 20-year HAP contracts.
By improving the efficiency in the way that HUD processes FOIA requests, we have helped to transform the way HUD does business. We are providing public service to the American public in handling FOIA requests. And we have contributed to President Obama's efforts in creating open and transparent government.
We created a group called the Chesterfield Working Group. The purpose of the group was to provide immediate technical assistance to the Strong Cities, Strong Communities Initiative, which is a White House initiative for the city of Chester, Pennsylvania. I would say the significance of this project is that it provides an immediate resource by establishing a partnership with the other federal agencies that wasn't done before. This partnership allows the city of Chester advantages and access to capacity that assisted in getting economic growth, a platform for affordable housing, safe and secure streets, access to education resources.
I'm working on two main projects to end homelessness. The first one is called the Regional Interagency Council on Homelessness, which is made up of 26 federal agencies and sub-agencies. And the second is called Dedicating Opportunities to End Homelessness. This is a 10-city initiative, and I'm leading the efforts in Philadelphia. And we're really moving ahead on a trajectory of getting to zero by the activities and partnerships that we're working on.
Our office here in Region 3 was responsible, and as a result of our investigations, we have successfully completed investigative casework that resulted in approximately 40 arrests, 50 charging of individuals, indictments, and approximately 50 convictions of those same people. Part of those schemes, there was loss to the department and to lenders, approximately $2 to $5 million a year is what we average as far as investigative recoveries through the court system. Some of that goes back to the FHA mortgage fund, some of that goes to public housing programs, and some of it goes to entities other than HUD as a result of our investigations.
I've been in this job a little over a year, and I've had a chance to visit Philadelphia several times in that period. I want to applaud the efforts of the Philadelphia Regional Office team. I had a chance to see your work and partnerships in action when I toured Project Home's permanent supportive housing and the Strong Cities, Strong Communities initiative in Chester. Also, I witnessed your close collaboration with local communities to develop a plan that accelerates the elimination of veterans' homelessness. This was the focus of your recent Rapid Results Veterans Boot Camp that I witnessed. Whether you volunteered to support the Hurricane Sandy disaster recovery, serve on a regional or headquarters working group, or simply strive for excellence in your daily duties, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you do to help the department achieve its mission and goals. Please keep up the good work. People are relying on us in these tough times, and it's because of the efforts that you put forth and the results that you're producing that people are concluding that their reliance on us is well put. So I can't thank you enough. Great job. Let's keep this effort going. Thank you very much.